What's up YouTube? Capital G here, giving you guys a quick little review and a roundup of some of the news and interesting stuff that has come out in the last 48, 72 hours in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. We have information as to the next deck building pack, and then we had a bunch of cards that were revealed from the new Lightning Overdrive booster set. So we're going to talk about those. First, we're going to pay some bills on this channel. This video is brought to you by the Fatal Core trading card game. Fatal Core is without a doubt one of the hottest games around and is growing rapidly. Fatal Core is 100% completely free of purchases and is entirely crowd-funded. Fatal Core not only rewards players with experience and in-game currency just for playing, but even if you just want to log in and work on a deck, you'll be able to cash in on those sweet login bonuses. In fact, Fatal Core was so impressive that TheGamer.com wrote a full article praising it for its innovation. In Fatal Core, both competitors play simultaneously, so there is no advantage in going first and no winning because you want a die roll. Not only does this lead to more satisfying games, but battles are made even more engaging by the unique and exciting lead characters that all have special abilities, varying playstyles, as well as weaknesses. I've been playing Fatal Core a ton lately, and I think it's an absolute blast. I really think you're going to enjoy it. Sign up for Fatal Core today at fatalcoretcg.com or by using the link in the description below, and look out for the release on Steam early next year. So Ancient Guardians is going to be our next deck building set. This is going to be, I guess, the first deck building set of the 2021 year, and we now know what the three themes are going to be. We don't have the names of the archetypes, and we don't know exactly what they're going to do, but we got like the smallest bit of details on these archetypes. So the first one, which I don't know why everybody's already talking about Snake Rain with this archetype. I mean, all Konami says is it's a giant boss monster for a theme that specializes in using the graveyard. That's pretty dang vague. I don't understand why everybody just assumes it's a reptile. It does have a bunch of feathered wings. This thing could be a sea serpent. It could be a fish for all we know. I mean, the wings make me think maybe winged beast, but obviously it could also be a reptile. So it's going to specialize in kind of like graveyard interaction, which that's kind of standard for Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays. Just look at archetypes like Orcus and Salamangreat. We have the archetype that easily will be the most popular. Let's just cut to the chase. Don't even deny it. It's a pendulum-based archetype. Are we still doing those? Because I made a video like 6-7 months ago saying pendulums were done as a mechanic and we weren't going to support that anymore. And then Konami got to give us the pink-haired waifu. I'm a little conflicted on this card because everyone knows I hate the pendulum mechanic with a passion. But man, is she cute. And also, I mean, I've said many times on this channel, my favorite color by far is pink. And this card just has copious amounts of pink in it. I mean, she looks like a character from like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is also like coincidentally one of my favorite animes. So I love the artwork of the card. And she has like this little, it's like a little floating mini version, like a doll form of her. I'm hoping, you know, this could be an instance where we get an archetype very similar to Sky Striker, El Dorado, or maybe Invoke, where she's like the only main deck monster. Like, don't put it past them. In these deck building packs, Konami has kind of made that a habit of giving us archetypes with just one card. So could we see a one card pendulum archetype, or I guess one main deck monster pendulum archetype? Possibly. And then we have what looks like a Gundam or some type of Japanese Voltron robot with a giant buster sword of some type. Apparently this is a synchro monster. And the description just says an asynchro monster. So, I mean, obviously it's going to be a synchro-based mechanic archetype. And this is going to be the boss monster. I mean, it definitely looks cool. Kind of giving me, I guess, a little like super quantum flashbacks. I know that archetype is XC-based and then it got a Link monster. But just aesthetically kind of reminding me of super quantum. So this will be really interesting. I want to see how the pendulum archetype is going to be structured, because I wouldn't put it past Konami to make maybe a pendulum deck that can pendulum summon just having like one scale. That would be kind of interesting. Now we got some Trap Trick support and also Bujin cards revealed out of Lightning Overdrive, and I'm just gonna quickly go through them. We got an extender for the Trap Trick archetype, and they're giving Trap Tricks a link to monsters, so it kind of makes sense that Trap Tricks would need an extender. Really, the only extenders I ever see people play in the deck is like the Phantom Knights of Shea Brigadine, and obviously that's an out of archetype card, so not very searchable in the deck. This card it's built very similar to like the Thunder Dragon cards, where you can only use one of its effects in a turn. That kind of puts a damper on it, because you can send a set trap on your field to the graveyard to special summon it, and then I guess in another turn, if you don't have any cards in your back row, you can banish her and you get to set one of your your normal trap hole cards back to your field. So it's a nice little recovery aspect, and obviously it's supposed to help you go into the link 2 ASAP, not just kind of getting stuck on Sarah and having to play the Protect the Sarah game. I think the link 2, like, this card's okay. Maybe we'll see how many copies they run. The link 2 I think is actually quite super good, and it makes this deck like way less reliance on, again, just kind of the Protect the Sarah game. The link 2 is super good because when you activate one of your trap hole cards, you get to reset the card. So basically, she turns all of your trap holes into sub to her final battle, and I'm all about that, because I don't really think like the trap hole cards, I mean, some of them have been, but honestly, I still think like Bottomless Trap Hole and like Floodgate Trap Hole, I still think some of those cards are pretty good. I feel like traps are actually kind of coming back, the way we're seeing Divine Punishment and Dogmatica Punishment and Ice Dragon's Prison and Torrential. We're seeing all of these cards like come back in decks like El Dorado and stuff like that. So, don't count out traps just quite yet. In the end phase, she does special summon a Trap Trick monster from your graveyard in defense position, so she can't summon Sarah back. However, she can summon all the main deck Trap Trick monsters back in, just getting a free +1 that also kind of recoups some of your investment that you put into her is obviously good. And then a lot of the Trap Trick monsters like Murmilio, when you summon them, they have effects. So maybe you summon Murmilio back, that's a +1, and then you get to pop your opponent's back row. Basically, that's a +2 that pays for the entire link summon of this card, let alone the whole using your trap hole cards over and over. So I definitely like the link too. Plus it has 1800 attack, and protecting Sarah can be a pain because she only has like 500 attack, but 1800 is legitimate. We got 3 Bujin cards, and the first card is absolutely nuts for Bujin, because basically it's a wind up it is a Rescue Rabbit a la Rescue Cat for the Bujin archetype. It allows you to summon 2 different Bujin monsters with different themes from your deck, and then you can do kind of whatever you want with them. They're summoned in defense positions, so you're probably not just going to leave them on the field. Obviously, you're looking to exceed with them, but I mean, instantly going into Susono Wu or Kagasuchi, it just feels incredibly nice. I've seen some of the combos with Bujins post these new cards. This is obviously the most important card, and when you Xyz summon, you get to equip this card from your graveyard to that Bujin Xyz monster, and then if you run over one of your opponent's monsters by battle, you get to banish it. That effect, I mean, it feels like a little icing on the cake. I'm not gonna knock Konami for that. I would have personally rather seen negation, because guys, not that everything has to have negation, but that's just kind of how Yu-Gi-Oh is played. But I do commend Konami for sticking to their guns, like making Bujin feel like Bujin, because that's kind of what Bujin does. Bujin beats the crap out of you. It's all about battling your opponent's monsters head on. This is a 3 of in the archetype. This is like the best card probably in a vacuum for Bujins outside of Susono Wu. They got a Bujin Pegasus card. This one's okay. I mean, it's basically just like an extender. I think most of the combos that I saw with Bujins, they summon this from the deck to kind of set the graveyard up. It has kind of like a warrior returning alive type effect, and it also has like a foolish burial effect. So it's a card that you want to summon from your deck. I don't think you actually want to hard draw this card, and I really think it's a one of. It's not a card that is particularly great for like card advantage, but it's kind of like a necessary for the combo, for like combos in Bujins. And then the last card is a continuous spell, which I was like, continuous spell, not named Tenki and Bujins, or maybe Kaiser Coliseum. I don't know if that's going to work. This card's good because the culmination of all 3 effects really make me like this card. The first effect just says your Bujin monsters can't be destroyed by card effects unless it's in the battle phase, so you can take away things like your opponent trying to pop your Bujins with Dragoon, or Torrential Tribute. It can save you from having to use like a hair or something like that. And the second effect is really good because I personally hate Mystic Mine. It's my most hated card in Yu-Gi-Oh! This allows you to give up a Bujin monster from face-up field or your hand and turn off one of your opponent's face-up cards. Again, like, it's not economical, but will I take giving up a Bujin in my hand to turn off Mystic Mine so I can actually play the game? Yes, I will. Turning off cards like Mystic Mine or Necro Valley or Skill Drain cards that like don't let you play, you know, a Fossil Diner or something like that, I will definitely take a neg 1 to like actually play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And then the third effect actually is a really nice 1-for-1. During your end phase, you can send this card to the graveyard and monster reborn any of your Bujin monsters. It could be useful on Xyz, but I think mainly you're going to be wanting to bring back some of those like, those effect monsters because you bring back Yamato during the end phase, and then Yamato can also just activate his effect, and you get a good monster, and that monster kind of has like set up because he can send some of those utility cards to the graveyard. So Bujins, from what I've seen, they're going to be blinding second. This could probably be a one-of. Again, if you're facing down a Floodgate or something like that, this is an excellent way to be able to like to play the game. Or if you're playing against, I don't know, VW Virtual World, it's a good way of maybe turning off their trap card, forcing them to pop this or something like that. So I'm definitely liking this stuff, guys. I'm finding it all really interesting, and as much as this is blasphemous, of all this stuff, I think I'm most interested in the pendulum archetype. I think there's just so much pink in the card. It has me fascinated. Anyways, whatever you guys think of all this, you leave that in the comment section below.